it is what it is. I don't have time to pick up that whole with it now.
I know.
Nor do I have the instrument written. Yeah, come to the meeting, then maybe this next week.
First, I would check who's on the screen and all. Who's that? With all the weight I've lost, you know.
I didn't, yeah.
I'm down 34 pounds. You have to, like, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I messed up the audio or not. It's not the, not the Wi-Fi at all. It's just the audio, the room doesn't pick up.
Business.
Because if it was a Wi-Fi, the picture would be distorted and all that stuff. Right. Then why? Because it wasn't, was it the owl? No, I think it was. People going through it with owl. We can't even get it on the fire. Well, many people on this year, because they don't come. Oh, no, I don't know. I'm thinking, we can't even get audio on the live stream.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he attempts with that, it's excellent, it's, training. I don't know about the. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But if he raised the east too much, what would it be then?
Yeah, I was speaking like last night's meeting in service. Because,
Never
Twitter. That's very familiar. You guys have been on Squid. Yeah, we did too. Sorry, I didn't go to either.
I know work well into the girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, that was my first 48.
That's when I go. Here's a sign-in sheet there, sir. Sir.
That's. Oh, there is nothing like the right. Oh, I do not have to get past. Yeah. That's true.
And I spent that evening actually. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, over here. That's fine.
Over here.
Oh, jeez. You're gonna make me walk over here. You're, when you're talking like dirty, that's not. Very good. No, one is the concept is a lot of sorrow. What can I make my grant? They're like, what are you doing, Kelly? You coming late? When I got there one day, people have so and oh dear. You can't have that. No. It's not even right if we need it.
I need like one of those sensors where they put it in guys.
No, before they're there, they know there's.
Yeah, I think what it is. Someone may have, well, there's a lot of things in the sheet.
Did everybody sign in on the contractor list? If you did.
If you're a contractor,
So we have your.
we have a sign up sheet here.
If you can't hear, I try my best to work it. Bye, see you later. Have a good one. Enjoy. I'm a little poet for you. So why don't you play Kennedy? You really want to do though. Please be sure to sign in on the table. There's two separate lists, one's for contractors,
Second on the right,
the right hand side.
Yeah.
Sign in on the right hand side, please. The left hand side is the city sign in for council.
They got me. Okay. Right. Are you, yeah, yeah, excellent. Yeah, I mean, the answer is. Yeah. Uh, yeah, mostly. So, progressive. Yeah. Yeah. So, are you working with me? If we take a spot. Yeah. Definitely better. I mean, this is gonna be a nice project. I'd like to know how much it's take. Sure, yeah. It's gonna be like, depends on. All 200,000. Doctor. It's. So phase one is 10. Phase two is starting. I'm looking at phase one. So it's kind of looking at, cruise control. Excellent. Well, so I did all the cars because I worked with the undergrad. Yeah, my number is right. That's my cell. We had tasks. I'd like to go and grab copies. Talking about opportunities. Yeah, right. There we go. You never know where.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Brennan, and I'm the mayor of the city of University Heights. Thank you for being here today for this meeting. We are recording the meeting, just so you are aware, we have a Zoom link, and when it comes to questions, we do have a microphone at the podium, and for the purposes of the recording and the people on the Zoom can hear, we would ask one question, as you come up to the podium and use the microphone to ask the question. I'd like to very briefly just go around the dais up here, have everybody introduce themselves, introduce who they are and their position here. We'll start here at the end of this. Okay.
I'm Alan Pennington, I'm the state service director.
What is the pleasure, city council?
Barry Sachs, City Council.
Justin Rogers, police chief.
And Ryan, city water.
Bill Lights, Vice Mayor.
Already introduced myself, Michael Brennan, mayor.
Deliver her with the city's project management team.
Brenda Moncrief, City Engineer.
Andy Boylan, executive. Okay, and I know our building commissioner is also, our building officials here in the background. As well as Jeff Engelbrecht, our housing and community development director. Are there any other city officials back there? Maybe, okay, thanks. All right, I'm gonna trust everybody's read the RFQ. I'm not gonna read it to you. I think we've gone to great detail, the city has with regard to what we believe we want and what we're looking for with respect to a owner's representative. There are some detail here about the departments that we're looking to building facilities for, which is basically everything, as well as number of employees in the various departments, the equipment that we have that needs to be stored and housed within the facilities. There are, by way of background, we did have a report from GPD Group that was finalized in 2022 that had certain space recommendations. The current space recommendation lists are the latest effort to refine the spaces that we think we need and an effort to control costs. One of the things we will want to do with our owner's representative is continue to work on that to make sure that we are getting what we need and controlling costs of the project. That is obviously a critical part of this. Those lists are available through Mr. Thomas. Anybody wants to see the original GP report, we can also make that available through Mr. Thomas. GPD is no longer part of this project. So they provided that report and left thereafter. So we have spent some time going over and refining the square footages that we may be using. Those are not final, but they are the latest version. So with that, I would also like to mention that we do have a proposed project schedule. It's anticipated. Obviously, we will work, with our owner's representative on the ultimately what we're looking to do, schedule-wise. Same thing with phasing. We'll be working with our owner's representative with regard to how we phase. That's listed in here as well. We do have our response evaluation team. Mr. Everhard here is one of the people that's on the team that simply says that we are a member of the Council Facility and Construction Committee. That would be Mr. Everhard, Bill Everhard. And then when it comes to a council person, that would be Council Person John Rock. He could not be here this evening, but will be intimately involved in this process. You've also heard from our city engineer. The fire chief could not be here in person tonight, but the executive captain, Andy Boylan, was here. Chief, I think, is on the Zoom call listening in. And we have Mr. Pennington from the service department and Chief Rogers from the police department. So with that, then the timeline with regard to selecting our owner's representative, we believe we are on track to follow the schedule that is on page 14. Once we will make this recording available for folks who would get the benefit of any questions that are asked and the answers that we've provided. Any questions that are also provided in writing, we will write out answers to all those things that we published on the website where we have the city project for the benefit of all prospective bidders. Finally, we will be interviewing our shortlist of candidates in August with an eye towards making a final ranking and selection in August and then September, so that we can really get moving. This we're all very excited here at the city to be moving forward on this project and to be very likely going with one of you as our owner's representative. So that said, if there's anything else anybody up here would like to add, we can do that, and then we'll turn it over to you for questions with respect to this process. Anyone? And if not, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please come up to the podium, use the microphone that's there for the benefit of the recording. Don't everyone come up to words.
You need me to introduce myself? Brandon Casella with NV5. So I know you mentioned you're willing to work with the owner's rep as far as phasing, scheduling, how we're gonna do the process. Are there any hard deadlines we should know of? Whether to use up funds by, or allocations, or property deadlines, anything everybody needs to be aware of?
I don't think so.
No, there really aren't. There's no ARPA funding involved at this point. We have to sign the contract at certain points. So obviously, we want to get these facilities up and for the departments as soon as possible. But
Yeah, there's no bond money that there's a deadline to spend a certain amount by, there's nothing like that.
Okay, nothing with lease deadlines or anything that would hold you up on anything? That's all we were curious of.
No, we closed on the Yavi property that's referenced in here, we don't have possession of it. So we have that, we are still working with the school district with regard to this facility and whether a section of this property would become the future site of the circuit yard. But that's something that's will operate on its own timeline and well within time of what we're doing.
Great, all right, thank you, guys.
I feel compelled to add that this is something that is in the RFQ, but I do feel like I would like to emphasize this. We have not yet decided with respect to the current main structure of the original or close to their original city hall, which was built in 1925. You know, is the building historically significant? Is it simply old? You know, ask me on a given day, I'll give you a different answer. But there is a lot of charm to the building. There are a lot of people who are sentimentally attached. You know, in a throwaway society, we want to throw away this building entirely. Who knows? But that's something that is yet to be determined, whether it's part of the existing facility, whether we find an alternate use for it, and so on. But it does exist at the corner of 2300 Lawrenceville Center Road. It will be 100 years old next year. It was built at a time when we had about 500 or 600 people living in it, and it was the city of that.
Hi, guys. My name is Derek Ross with VN Services. I have a question. Speaking to the my apologies.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you.
So have you guys worked with an owner's rep before? And if you have, what were the good things? What were the bad things? Or what are some of the pain points that you might have right now that everyone would be kind of interested to know how we can best?
Well, as a city, we have not. We have not built a new structure in this city since 1953. And that would be our police station. So, unless you count some adjustments that were made to the fire department. I will tell you that the current fire department, we did buy a new ladder truck since I became mayor. We actually had to lower the suspension and remove the rails in order to fit it into the existing truck. That tells you something about the limitations of the current fire. So, unless anybody else here is working on an owner's rep in another capacity, perhaps Mr. Pennington, you did when you were in mayor.
I am very limited, when they did the, Fire Station 5, facility. I was not directly involved with that, but I did have an occasion to deal with on rep op very
And others here may have in other capacities, if they're part of their private employment, this is why, do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I work with the ownerships, in my day job. I'm pretty like about this, but I mean, you know, different types of buildings. There's definitely, you know, I think very good experiences and some not so good experiences. But, you know, it's a partnership. I think, you know, the biggest piece in my mind is staying on top of those green borders. That was, you know, that's something that, I know that my team always makes sure that we keep an eye on, but it's that partnership and it's that day-to-day relationship. That is, those weekly check-ins. In my mind, they're most important.
Communication, as well as understanding that this has got to be the biggest project that you guys have done in quite some time, especially a new build renovation. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, so it sounds like that's something that all of us should probably pay attention to, especially when it comes to answering those questions that come on.
And I think this, because of the complexity of this project, 4 different facilities for 3 departments, city hall, you know, making it fit on the site, all those issues, and we forces, service department to be operational, other things. Why we thought it was very important. Owner's representative to.
Understood. I'm sure every one of us would be more than happy to be next time to do that and help. So, thank you so much for taking my question.
Certainly, and I would also add this, I mean, which I can let Brad, who just said in our water act, is that, you know, ensuring continuity of operation throughout all of this is very important. I mean, we're fortunate that this building exists here, which is not being fully utilized right now. It has served as a swing space for the school district at various times for other construction, and we foresee that happening here at strong possibility, because depending on how we phase things, we may just move everybody out of 2300 Lawrenceville to the extent that we can and operate here, especially when it comes to administration of building houses. You know, to the extent that we can do that with the police and fire, that may be a little bit dicier, but we're not looking to build a police station and fire station on their current footprints. We're looking at doing it in other places within the overall municipal campus over there. It's not a very big area, but it's big.
So continuity of service is another
So we don't want, you know, the service to our constituents. Our residents expect and deserve a high level of service at all times throughout this process. We are committed to doing that, every one of us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Marvel. I'm with the Associates, and I actually have 2 questions. The first one is, how is this project funded? Are there any state municipal dollars, federal dollars that go into this? And then 2, are you seeking to get some input around this construction building? Hopefully you guys heard me.
Yes. Yeah, so those are very good questions. I mean, one of the tricky things here is, you know, we are trying to live within our means. We're trying to avoid a tax increase. We're trying to find creative ways to finance this without being below to our residents are fairly highly taxed already, and finding a way to do this within our means is a key consideration. Finding a creative way to finance this, whether it's B3 or something else, these are things that we're certainly open to. But these are, you know, we are trying to find a way to do this, you know, within the constraints of the current budget that we have. And to the extent that we have to find another way to finance part of this, that's a discussion we can have, find out and figure out what we can tolerate, and if we have to go to the people, how exactly we go about it. Our first preference, of course, is to do this within the constraints of finance.
So you're looking for alternative funding sources.
We're open. I think that's a fair statement. What was the second part of the question?
Second question was, community input.
Community and, we have to have community buy-in and as to what we're doing. I think that the community is well aware of this process. We've been at this for some time. This is something I raised, during my first year as mayor back in 2018. And at the time, it may have seemed a little outlandish, but I think a lot of education has already happened with respect to the current state of facilities. And we would benefit from more. I mean, I think as part of this process, we are going to want to invite the community to see exactly the conditions that our city employees are working in. I don't know that people necessarily know that our Detective Bureau isn't even in, that our fire administration is located in the house by the park, it's in the fire station. It's simply in the road. Things like that we are spread out between rented office space, existing city hall space, cannibalized, use the word, but it's certainly a converted city council chambers for additional office space, as well as the rented space in the plaza, and 3 different houses that whole city employees that, is not the conditions under which we want to have our city employees work under any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Dan Wasinski with River Caddis Management.
Okay.
You mentioned some additional space to build on. The RFQ was talking about square footages of multiple story buildings and so on. And based on what was listed in the RFQ, there roughly about 3.2 acres is what the current campus exists, is what's listed in there from what I could gather from tax maps. Could you maybe outline more of what, it sounds like there's more area available, because immediately that was a big concern of mine, that there wasn't enough buildable surface. I mean, considering that you're looking at 60,000 square foot of parking based on the current employee counts that you gave. So roughly that's a need of 120,000 square foot of a property that's about 142,000 square foot. So obviously right away, it seemed like that there's going to be a tight site. So is there more property that you said this site might be available?
Well, I don't know if your numbers include the Avi property, which we just closed on. That's an additional acre or so of space. It's just about an acre of usable space. It's listed as 1.2 acres, but the actual legal description takes part of that into the street. So it's really more like an acre.
Is that the one that's adjacent to the existing campus?
Yes, the south. That's at 2308 Mortville.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a building on there currently. Obviously, that was that building for that. We do own some property across the street on Saybrook, the houses that we currently have there. If it were necessary to incorporate that somehow, at one time we considered the possibility of closing part of Saybrook Road. I don't know if we necessarily want or have to do that. We are looking at moving the service department off the site. So if the service department will, if you look through these windows, you see those school buses parked there. That's the Cleveland Heights University Heights bus depot, call it. So just south and east of this is an area of land that we research would fit our service department and the needs that we have for the service department. One strong possibility is that the service yard moves over there. And if it's moved over there, that frees up the space where the new police and fire administration.
Okay, well, quite a bit more space.
Yes.
The existing site, has there been any environmental work done yet? Buried fuel tanks out there, is that site partially contaminated that you know of? The reason I'm asking is, again, additional funding sources for
Sure. BPD did some soil testing, some borings and so on, and found nothing that we should be concerned of. Some of that can be found in their report. So I would refer to that report, and if there's something more that needs to be on what they already did, well, then we will have to address it.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Andre Bryan with Bridgeport. Question on the Gavi site. When is that going to be demoed? And is the demolition also part of the expectation of the owners rep to manage that?
We've not yet determined when we're gonna demo the site, but that's something that should be done in relatively short order. We got the keys to the property yesterday. Yeah, so I haven't started the demolition quite. But yeah, that's something that we are looking to do in relatively short order. I don't know that we need that to be part of the owner's responsibility. We will quite likely just go ahead and get going on that here sooner rather than later. They were, for instance, where the building apartment house currently is, there's some property that is cleared. We took those houses down right before the pandemic in anticipation of what we're doing now, to create the space and to create the blank canvas. So I feel like we should be taking the same approach here with the office. I don't want to start using the building for anything other than let's get it done.
Yeah, okay. And then for, you mentioned a number of existing, facilities, people are scattered all over the place. When you, look at those that you own right now, is there a plan for adaptive reuse? Is that what you're thinking, or you get rid of those altogether?
Well, the house where the building and housing operations are happening will ultimately have to come down. That will likely be part of where the police station is. Where the detective bureau and the fire administration are, I don't believe we have considered what will happen with those parcels as of yet if they are not incorporated into the new facility. But the only way to really incorporate them is to do something that bridges Saybrook Road, whether it's over the road or simply closing the road and having dead ends of the park, and then creating where the Saybrook Washington Silsbee intersection is a three-way instead of four-way. Which we have talked about at one time, but we can explore again. We certainly haven't decided. It may also be necessary to close that road for some period of time simply for staging, and that's something that we'll have to work out with our owners rep.
Well, that's why, with respect to planning, is there, city planning, is there, has there been discussion on POD as far as transit-oriented, development and as it relates to, everything from green spaces to transportation lines and road widening and all those kind of things?
Well, I don't think we've had kind of the robust discussion on POD that I might like to have, but I do think that should be part of the conversation. We are going through a comprehensive rezoning process right now too, because we didn't have enough to do. But there are all these things that need to be done to move the city in the direction that we want for the future. So we are looking to do this complete re-envisioning of Hornsville Center Road, which is anchored on land with Fairmont Circle and projects that Carol is working on, anchored on the other end by our new municipal facilities and the revision of University Square. So with mixed use and high density residential all the way up and down Hornsville in between. So have, TOD considerations and certainly a green bill and a sustainable bill. I'm not saying that things should be certified. That brings all kinds of other things into the equation that run up costs. There are other ways that we can be green, thoughtful, and economical, and have an efficient building that is cost effective to run, and the kinds of green and sustainable things would be most prepared would be the kind of things in the long run will stay as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of money, a lot of funds available, like the other gentleman talked about. Let me see that that's in some part of the plan.
Well, I think having an owner who's familiar with those things and help us find those dollars is important.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you. We're happy to answer any more questions that you might like to have. If not, is there any further comment? Anybody up here? Anything? Oh, sorry, here we go. Sorry.
I am Sarah McNally. I'm an law firm. And I was just wondering if the city has legal counsel that they're currently working with. If you want our own rep to work directly with legal counsel, how does that?
We have our law director, Brad Ryan. We have not contemplated, I don't think, further legal counsel on the project beyond that, but that's something that we would probably work with Brad first and foremost, and then go from there with respect to anything we might want to do to add to the team if necessary or appropriate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brad, would you like to add anything? I don't want to speak to you, you are the law clerk.
We really don't have any plans at this point. It's always, right?
Well, it's a beautiful day out, so I don't want to keep you any longer. If you've answered all the questions. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please.
I actually only sat down because I've got somebody else, I can stay here forever, but.
Oh,
I was trying to be courteous to my competition. Quick question though. Has there been some consideration to, or has there been, when was the last master? Has there been?
the last master plan for the city was done with Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. I would want to say 2016 and 17 is when that was.
Okay, I went.
We've had full turnover in all administrative positions since that time.
Okay. Yeah, I can follow on, but I think, and then you said you're gonna have, all the questions and, that you feel electronically is gonna be posted for everyone to see.
Oh, that's right. I mean, we do have a question deadline coming up.
July 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any questions that come in, we're gonna answer, publicly for everybody, so everybody gets the benefit of it.
We'll make this apparent. Post.
Yes, most of our things go on YouTube. We'll put up the YouTube link on the page where the RFQ.
Thank you.
Dave Snyder with PCI, Quality Control Inspection. I was looking here and it said that the budget was between $20 and $30 million. When was that budget derived and how was it derived? And who put that together?
This is why I joined. Take a step.
Sure, I mean, at this point, this is what the city can afford. It could be that because of that budget that it's faced. We're not sure at this point. We have to speak with the owner's rep and see how, the bids, engineering and architecture, but at this point, this is what the city feels that they can afford.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Going once, going twice. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. We all look forward to your bids, and we're very excited about this project and excited at the opportunity to be working with one of you out there on this. So thank you very much. If you do have additional questions, please submit them. We will answer them, publicly for everyone's benefit. So thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay, yes.
We did all.
Again.
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been kind of quiet.
Yeah, they just spent $87 million.
In 3 years.
Yes. That would be different. Yeah. Good seeing you.
Far down and far out. I can't.
Yeah, it was just that. No, I.
Thank you.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Do my best to, takes on, that I need to do that. Yeah. I mean, take your.